Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on PIB monthly compilation and I'll be discussing PIB for the month of March. All the important news that were there for the month of March will be discussed in this session. And PIB in general is very important for the prelims as well as for the mains examination. Some of the authentic content that is there by the Government of India is reported. So this compilation file will help you at the both stages. So without any further ado, let's get started. And the discussion will go by section wise. First, we'll see the news that is relevant for General Studies Paper 2. Then the news that comes under General Studies Paper 3. Some news that is brief in nature and specifically relevant for prelims examination. Some bilateral agreement and summit for the month of March. And again, some military exercise that took place in the month of March. So all these are the content that will be followed in this session. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for examination purposes, do press a like button. And if you're preparing for Civil Services this year, that is for 2023, we have integrated test series for you that call for both prelims and mains. There will be 30 tests and supplemented by 8 mains all India level test. This will be followed with free IS Guested magazine, a current affair magazine, a free mentorship, and even the test on PYQs, current affairs, CSAT and full length test will be followed. And the best part of the integrated test series is that there's flexible date and time that is scheduled for the test, right? So for more details, you can refer to the description section of this video where I provided dedicated link and you can register yourself for the integrated test series. So starting this session with General Studies Paper 2 section related news. Among it, the first is PM Mitra Mega Textile Park. And in this, the Prime Minister has announced the PM Mega Textile Mitra Park to be set up in 7 states. Which are the 7 states? This include Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. So the name become important. If you are appearing for any of the state public service commission examination, you can highlight that this state had got the part of the mega textile. Now about the PM Mitra Park, this is inspired by 5F vision of the Prime Minister that called for farm to fiber, fiber to factory, factory to fashions and fashion to foreign. Now this scheme aims to develop an integrated scale modern industrial infrastructure that will call for the value chain and even entire value chain that has to be augmented in the textile sector. PM Mitra Park is a unique model where the center state government will work together and they will create a global hub for the manufacturing, and this will promote largely to the export of the textile. Now what is the significance of this scheme? The PM Mitra Parks will create a world-class infrastructure industries and even it will call for the large investment coming directly from the FDI. If the industries are set up, the foreign partners are coming and they are investing, which will definitely encourage the part of innovations and job creation within the sector. Although if you see the textile sector, it has a substantial contribution in the economical development. And the center expect that this park is going to attract an investment of 70,000 crore rupees, which is a big number. And even it will create none less than 20 lakh jobs in the country, right? So this is how the entire value chain will be augmented and improved. And the other part, that the park will have an excellent infrastructure that will call for plug and play facilities as well as training and research facilities for the industries. Now, what are the facilities that will be provided to the state government? And before I come to the part of the facilities, this all funding that will be there will be by the special purpose vehicle, which is known as SPV. So if there's a question in the prelims examination asking about the finances, so you can just mark that this is with the help of the SPV. Now to establish the mega textile park, the state government will provide continuous incumbents free partial land of 1,000 acres of land, and this will be available with the state, which will include the part of provision for all utilities. There will be reliable power supply that will be provided, water availability, wastewater disposable system, effective single window clearance, and conducive and stable industrial textile policies that has to come directly from the state government. Now, the other important scheme, that is Vibrant Village Program. Very, very important. There can be a direct question in mains examination as well as in the prelims examination. So Union Cabinet has approved the center sponsored scheme, जिसे वाइब्रेंट विलेज प्रोग्राम भी कहते हैं, फॉर द फाइनेंशियल ईयर, और इस पर्टिकुलर स्कीम्स के लिए जो टोटल एलोकेशंस हैं वो 4,800 crore रुपीस की गई है. द अमाउंट इज नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट बट एटलीस्ट यू शुड नो. The program called for the comprehensive development for the village at the block level, specifically for the northern borders, improving the quality of their life, and that is identified at the border village. Now, aim क्या है Vibrant Village Program की? Some of the core aims. Among them, the first is to strengthen the basic infrastructure. जो Vibrant Village Programs के अंदर जो भी districts को identify की जाएगी, उनमें basic infrastructure को improve करने की कोशिश की जाएगी, specifically for the line and actual control, and even to basically reduce the migration that is taking place from the region. The scheme will also provide the development of essential infrastructure creations in the 19 district of the 46th border in the 4 state and 1 union territories in the northern land border, right? And the first phase will have 663 village that will be taken up in the program. उसके अलावा रिवर्सिंग द आउट माइग्रेशन, जो लोग काम करने के लिए बाहर जाते हैं, दे एक्चुअली लीव आउट देयर स्टेट, द नेटिव होम टाउन. सो दिस विल डेफिनेटली बी रिमूव्ड और उसको रिवर्स करने में मदद मिलेगी, and they will stay in their home place because the industrial setup will be there in the particular place. Now, basic amenities, that is again an important part there. So the border village will also provide for the amenities which include modern housing and good roads for connectivity, water and electricity supply, good educations, health and communications facilities, and access to Doordarshan channel for awareness through the mass media. Now, skill development and social entrepreneurship, very, very important at this context. So, hub and spoke model will be incorporated, and this will provide empowerment to the youth and women by providing them skill, which will call for a skill development and entrepreneurship. And even it will promote the tourism to a larger extent for the local culture. It will also develop the sustainable eco-agribusiness through one village program concept. Now, custom duty relief for rare disease drug, something again important because we have seen and we come across some of the disease which is costing the part of the drug medication cost crores rupees, and it's not affordable for everyone. Now, Ministry of Finance in this regard has called for a full exemptions on the custom duties for a drug that was imported for a rare disease, right? जैसे muscular dystrophy है और भी ऐसे कई diseases हैं, rare disease that is related to blood, leukemia. So these are the disease where the medication require the import. In that part, the custom duty will be fully exempted, the basic custom duty. Now, the ministry noted there is substantial cost of saving and even that need to relieve the patients. The import duty put a waivers and that will become effect from 1st of April 2023, which has already been implemented. Now, what is the custom duty on drug? If you see, the custom duty is 10% generally charged on the medicine, and even if it is a crore rupees, you are paying somewhere close to 10 lakh rupees as a custom duty, which is on a higher side. Now, in some categories, the life-saving drug cost 5% to 0, and exemptions will be given to the specified drug, which include the spinal muscular atrophy. And even at the latest government notification says that the basic custom duties of all drugs and the special medicine purposes that will be imported used for the treatment of the rare disease will be fully exempted. So if it is the statement is given in the prelims examination that all diseases are exempted, all the amount of which will be imported, no, it is only specifically for the rare disease, genetical diseases. The center also fully exempt the part of the Keytruda used that for the treatment, and the basic custom duty will be exempted. These medicines are basically used for the treatment of cancers. Now, procedures. What are the procedures to avail the exemption? ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने basically you give the invoice and you'll get the exemption. No, there's certain set of criteria that you have to follow, certain procedures that has to be followed, and in that context, you have to get the certifications from the Directorate of Health Services or district medical officers or a civil surgeon of your district that yes, this is the drug which which has to be imported from X country, and the exemption necessarily need to be given under the National Policy for Rare Drug 2021. Then only the individual will be eligible to get the exemptions. Now, NCRT to develop new syllabus and textbook. I think most of you must be aware of this. I have already made a discussion for this news in the daily news and editorial analysis. If you have not watched it, do check it out. Now, the Ministry of Education has announced that the government will introduce the NCRT textbooks and syllabus. This will be as per the part of the new education policies और national curriculum framework जो release की गई है उसकी parameters पे set होगी. This is nearly 2 decades that the students were already using the old version and the changes had been made after 2 decades. 5 step learning process रखी गई है जो नई framework है national curriculum framework में. The first among them is introduction of a topic, conceptual understanding, practice, applications and expansions. Now through NCF, the ministry aims to help the student to develop their cognitive and critical thinking skill, which will involve problem solving in their real life situation. Now, what is the next course of action from the Ministry of Education? There will be a national steering committee जो कि streamline करेगी सारे processes को, and then only the entire agenda for the national curriculum framework will be finally come into action. And currently government has released NCF for the preschool for the children aged between 3 to 8 and for the primary school also recently, I mean day before yesterday only government has released it. Now framework for the other classes is yet to be rolled out. Some news that is related to General Studies Paper 3 and important for your mains and prelims examination both. So first is a foreign trade policy. So the Union Minister for Commerce and Industries has launched FTP. Just to tell you, this was delayed because of COVID-19. Now finally the government has come up with a new version of the foreign trade policy. And this document called for the continuity and the time-tested scheme facilitating the export as well as the document which is nimble in response to the requirement of the trade. The base principle is called for trust and partnership with the exporters. What are the 4 pillars of the foreign trade policy? First, call for the incentive to remissions, export promotions through collaborations, ease of doing businesses and emerging areas. Aim of the policy, the first aim is to re-engineering and automation and facilitate ease of doing business. और दूसरी है that is dual high technology that is used under the SCOMET, facilitating e-commerce export, collaborating with the state and district export promotions. Now it also encourage where the new towns will be developed. I'll tell you the detailed part of it. And FTP is also facilitating the export by streamlining popular advance authorizations and EPCG scheme that enable the trade from India. Now looking into the detailed part of the key features, अगर पहली बात करें री-इंजीनियरिंग और ऑटोमेशंस की, तो पॉलिसी के अंदर एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन और डेवलपमेंट के लिए री-इंजीनियरिंग और ऑटोमेशंस की कॉन्सेप्ट को इनकॉर्पोरेट की गई है. एंड इवन FTP codifies the implementation of the mechanism in the paperless online environment, bidding on the earlier and ease of doing business initiatives. Now there's also a concept of towns of export excellence. So some new towns that include Faridabad, Mirzapur, Muradabad and Varanasi has been designated as a town of export excellence in addition to existing 39 towns. Recognitions for exporters. It is very important that the trade policy would definitely incentivize the part of exporters. So the exporters firm recognize the status based on the export performance, which will now have a partner capacity building initiatives. And this will help to build skilled manpower and pool capable serviceable, and this all initiative incentivizing the part of exporters will definitely help India to achieve the target of 5 trillion economy, which is targeted by 2030. Because of COVID-19 it is extended. Earlier government has set the target for 2025. Promoting export for the districts, the foreign trade policy aims to build a partnership जहाँ पे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ मिलकर के डिस्ट्रिक्ट एक्सपोर्ट्स हब बनाने की बात की गई है. एंड दिस विल promote the part of export at district level, accelerating the development of cross trade ecosystem. And even you can connect it with one district, one program, which is at indigenous level. But उसी के तहत इस program के through भी जो export है उसको भी promote की जाएगी. Now there's a streamlining of SCOMET policy, which called for special chemical organism, material, equipment, technology. The stakeholders of the policy will make more robust to implement the international treaties agreement entered into by India. and facilitating e-commerce export, the part of the e-commerce export, promoting the category which call for the interventions from the traditional offline trade. And this will be outlining the part of establishment like e-commerce hub related to such payment like reconciliations, bookkeeping, return policies and export entitlement. तो एक तरह से अगर फैसिलिटेशंस की अगर बात करें ई कॉमर्स एक्सपोर्ट को, तो उनकी जो ब्रॉडनेस है, डेप्थ है, वो दोनों बढ़ाई जाएगी. Now there's amnesty scheme. The government has introduced one-time amnesty scheme under the foreign trade policy that call for the default on export obligations, and the scheme is intended to provide relief to exporters who have been unable to meet their obligations under the EPCG and advance authorizations, right? So the high duty and interest cost associated with the pending cases will be again, that will be improved. Now the interest payable will be capped at 100% of this exemption duty under the scheme, and this will also give the exporter a fresh start and opportunity to come into the compliances part. Now the other scheme is Digital India Act, very important. So the center has formally outlined the India Digital Act, or you can say Digital India Act, which is a broader overhaul for the Information Technology Act 2000. The policy advocate for a legal expertise जहाँ पे broad principle like definitions of internet intermediaries, उनके क्या safe harbor होने चाहिए, कौन-कौन से ऐसे subjects हैं, importance area that has been outlined under the Digital India Act 2023. Now, key aspects of Digital India Act की अगर बात करें, the first among them is artificial intelligence, which is again very important. Even if you see G20, इंडिया ने यहाँ पे artificial intelligence को भी काफी ज़्यादा प्रमोट करने की बात की है. Deepfakes, which is again a concern, it's a global concern. Cybercrime, again something that has to be discussed. Competition issues among the internet platform and the data protection. The goal of Digital India Act first is to incorporate the part of open internet, online safety and trust, accountability, quality services, adjudicatory mechanism, and new technologies. Now, reform in digital law, that will be there. So the Ministry for Electronic and Information Technology has categorically said that the draft Digital India Bill will replace the primary digital law IT Act and address the challenges posed by the internet today. Now, there will be a specific grievance appellate committee which will look into the matter. So 3 grievance appellate committee will be formed under the Information Technology Intermediaries Guideline and Digital Media Ethics Code Rule 2021. And this will call for, this actually has been envisioned under Rule 3A of the IT rule. This is again relevant for prelims examination. And the committee has now established to take up the content complained by the social media users also. Urban planning, development and sanitations. This is another topic. So there was a webinar which was there by the Prime Minister. So he had addressed the post-budget webinar and the topic was urban development and sanitations, focuses on planning. Very important, there can be a direct question in the mains examination. So all the webinars that Prime Minister has actually addressed is important for your mains. Now this was the 6th series of the 12th post-budget webinar that was organized by the Prime Minister. And he also discussed about the initiative and the roadmap for the development of the urban development and sanitations. Now, what is the roadmap that is there by the Government of India? So it says that the fate of India's cities in Amrit Kal will call for a lot more innovations, and even only the well-planned cities that determine the fate of India. Prime Minister has said that when planning is better, cities will become more climate resilient and water secure. Focus area की अगर बात करें, the Prime Minister while addressing has urged that the participant of the webinar to focus on 3 main questions. वो 3 questions कौन-कौन से हैं? पहले, that how to strengthen the urban planning ecosystem in this state. This is the first priority that should be looked upon, not only from the state government but also from the citizen and the stakeholders. How to properly use the expertise available in the private sector in the urban planning, and how to develop the center for excellence that will take urban planning to the next level. Now, कुछ गवर्नमेंट के इनिशिएटिव्स की अगर बात करें जो अर्बन डेवलपमेंट को लेकर के प्रमोट करें, the first among them is the Atal Mission for Regeneration of Urban Transport, also known as Amrut, then Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Smart City Mission, Swachh Bharat Mission, Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana, known as Hirday, and Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission, that is DAY NULM. Global Alliance for Big Cat, again something very important because if you see the environment question that is there in the prelims examination, direct question are framed. So India has proposed to launch the mega global alliance named the International Big Cat under the leadership to protect the big cat, and this called for a sum assured where the guarantee for 100 million funding will be there. And this coalition, which is at the international level, will has just made a effort to ensure that the big cats are protected across the globe. Now, what is International Big Cat Alliance? This will work together to protect the conservation part of the 7 major big cats, which includes tiger, lion, leopards, snow leopards, puma, jaguar, and cheetah. Right? We have a cheetah project cheetah as well, which is ongoing by the government of India. So the membership will be open to 97 ranges of the countries, which will call for natural habitat of these big cats as well as other interested international organization, etc. Among the protocol timeline, the alliance is expected to be launched within the next month with a suitable office complex in India. So there will be a separate functional office which will be operating in India. What is the objective of IBCA? So this will call for the disseminations of information on the benchmark practices, capacity building, resource repository, research, development, and awareness creations. Now the major activities will include advocacy, even the partnership, knowledge, e-portal, capacity building, ecosystem, partnership between the expert group and the finances tapping. Composition of IBC, this is again relevant for your prelims examination. There can be a direct question asking about the composition. So this will have a governance structure that will comprise of the General Assembly consist of all members, and the council for at least will have 15 members from the elected countries, and General Assembly for term of 5 years. A secretariat will also be established, and under the recommendations of the council, the General Assembly will appoint IBA Secretary General for a specific term. Now, a smart PDS scheme, again something important to revamp the part of the overall PDS because there are a lot of fraud and leakages that is ongoing in the PDS system, that is public distribution system. So the Minister for Consumer Affairs and Food Distribution has said that all state and union territories will implement the smart PDS to ensure the smooth operations of the public distribution system. This is under the National Food Security Act that governs the beneficiaries and the center-centric program. The targeted public distribution system will provide for food security to 81.35 crore person every month. Now about the smart PDS, what it actually and how this will help the part of the users also. The smart PDS is a system that where the smart ration card will be issued to the beneficiaries for the public distribution system, which is in general in the layman term we call it a ration shop, right? So the fingerprint template of the beneficiaries is recorded in a smart ration card with all transition of the record holders. The ration is given on a fair price shop on a productions of the smart card that will be mandatory for each and everyone, and then only the beneficiaries can avail the benefit out of it. So this is more of digitalization of the PDS. Now technology-led reform is the important part here. So the part that will call for operations will include IT, hardware, software, and technical manpower. This will institutionalize the integrated center system of all PDS across the country. It will include all states and union territories. Nearly 93% of the total monthly allocated food grain are distributed through Aadhaar authentication mode, that is electronic point of sale devices. Now integrated management of public distribution system will be there. This will call for more digitalization and computerizations of the targeted PDS, and the government will launch integrated management of public distribution system, which is a center sector scheme. The main objective of this, if you talk like implementation for one nation, one ration card, which is already in operation, creation for national level repository and deduplications of the beneficiaries ration card. कई ऐसे ration holders हैं जिनके even the names forgely they have been lodged with two of the cards that has been issued under their name. Creation for integrated data infrastructure across the ration management system, and even allocation, supply chain, food grain, and FPS automations among the center and all states. Now some news that is brief in nature and relevant for prelims examination specifically. First is the Lakshya program. Lakshya program of the Ministry of the Health and Family Welfare aims to improve the quality care in the labor room and the maternity operations theatre, that is OT. The goal of this program is to reduce the prenatal, maternal, and newborn mortality, mobility, and stillbirth. And this is associated with the delivery of labor room, maternal OT, and ensure respectful maternity care. So, when it comes to women empowerment and something a dedicated scheme regulated to women, you can definitely use this as an example purposes. Now, under the purview of Laksh, the facility level that is to achieve is 55% less surgical infections rate, and even the maternity OT that is there, at least reductions by 30% from the baseline. So these are some of the aim of the Lakshya program. Now, the Porter Prize 2023, very, very important. This question may be relevant for many other government examinations that you will be appearing for. So this was backed by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The prize recognizes holistic strategy for the government of India to contain this. And the prize announced with the India Dialogue, which was organized by the IFC and the US Asia Technology Management Center. The prize recognizes India's effort in managing the part of COVID-19 and the contribution made by the ASA workers. And the ministry took all necessary steps to combat the COVID-19 situation in the entire country. Bharat Gaurav train to northeastern region, again a milestone achievement for the northeastern connectivity. Indian Railway has recently introduced the Bharat Gaurav Deluxe tourist train to the northeastern region, and the train has been launched by the Government of India initiatives such as Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat or Dekho Apna Desh to promote the domestic tourism. The train has commenced a journey from Delhi on 21st of March and over the cities that will go around the 15 days. This will include some of the states which is mentioned over here. You can read out the complete states. And the theme for the states include the Northeastern Circuit, Northeastern Discovery, beyond Guwahati, right? So this is the theme. The theme can again be directly important for the examination. Now, Parivesh portal. This is something which is based on the workload applications developed to submit the part of monitoring proposals for the proponents of the environmental, forest, wildlife, and coastal georegulation clearances. So if it is asked, this is related to which? This is related to environmental clearance and even promoting the transparency in the part of the clearances. The objective of the Parivesh is to provide single window system, clearance system with the part where the process and data synchronization will take place. Leveraging of the emerging technology, advanced data analytics will be there, and it will call for the revamped version of effective decision making without compromising with the environmental safeguard, because there are a lot of project that has been passed and even Supreme Court at the end sanctioned that they give restrictions and disapproval to that particular project. So these projects will take due care before the actual approval is being made. Now, Telegates road connectivity for the first time. This is again very important. This is in the part of the area in Arunachal Pradesh. This can be a question in the prelims also. And after independence, for the first time, this area was connected. The Prime Minister has expressed the happiness over the 51-kilometer Yangtze Teli road, which is there in the Kara Dadi district of Arunachal Pradesh. Now, India Post Payment Bank launches the WhatsApp banking services, that is India Post and Payment Bank. In collaboration with Airtel, they have announced the launch of WhatsApp banking services for only IBB customer, that is Indian Post and Payment Banks. The newly launched WhatsApp services will enable the customer to seamlessly connect with the banks on WhatsApp and even effortlessly avail the host of banking services, including the doorstep services, locating the nearest post office, and many more facilities that will be there via the WhatsApp. Now, Indian Railway to become the net zero carbon emitters by 2030. Indian Railway has set a target to become net zero emitters by 2030. This is a target that was made. There can be a direct question from this topic that what is the target that is set by Indian Railways. So Indian Railways has taken a number of initiatives to reduce the carbon emissions and the use of energy efficiency technology, like completely switching over the productions that call for electric locomotive with regenerative features, use of head on the generations technology, also known as HOG technology, LEDs light replace की गई हैं in the coaches, and star rated applications and the afforestation. So these are the gamut of part of the initiatives that is taken by Indian Railways to ensure that they are working towards the target of net zero carbon emitters by 2030. And moving ahead with some bilateral agreement and summit that were important for the month of March. Among them, the first is India-Japan to strengthen the bilateral ties. India and Japan review their bilateral relationship during the visit of the Prime Minister of Japan. And during this meeting, there was a partnership that were in the area of defense, security, trade and investment, science and technology, education, healthcare, critical and emerging technologies. In defense and security, some of the agreement call for enhancing their bilateral partnership, and even in the times of ensuring peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. Indo-Pacific is a region which is a concern for India because of the dominance from many other countries, and even if you see the China's angle, which is relevant in this context. Now, recently, the fourth Dharma Guardian Army exercise was conducted for the first time in Japan. And the Clean Energy Partnership called for 14th India-Japan Annual Summit Partnership, which will call for the cooperation in March. The partnership aims towards achieving sustainable economic growth, addressing climate changes, and ensuring the security challenges which is there in the region. India-US to link MOUs for semiconductors, the Memorandum of Understanding between India and US. This will identify the diverse supply chain and even call for the opportunities for joint venture and the technologies partnership which will be there in the semiconductor sectors. Now, there's India-US strategic trade dialogue, which is there within this. So, India and US has recently called for an initiative which called for trade dialogues and will focus on aligning the export and even to improve the part of the critical technologies. Policies में अगर बात करें, recently they have unveiled the chip and science art to help and rebuild the manufacturing. Both initiatives come under India, which is working at the end of the dependence of China for the chips. First meeting for the governing board of the BIMSTEC energy centers. India hosted the first governing council for the BIMSTEC in the Bengaluru, Karnataka. और अगर मेंबर कंट्रीज की बात करें, that include Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Thailand. Now, neighborhood first policy के थ्रू एक्ट इस पॉलिसीज के तहत ये मीटिंग्स हुई, and even the part of the BIMSTEC Energy Center, India had made presentation on establishing the BIMSTEC Energy Center in India. Now, considering this, some of the areas that were there, the important areas include cyber security, green hydrogen, and energy transitions. Now, some military exercises and initiative. This is the last part of our discussion. We'll see some of the relevant exercises and initiative that took place for the month of March. The first is Sinew Maitri, that is the exercise between the India and Japan Air Force. The exercise has been organized on the sideline of Indo-Japan Army exercise Dharma Guardian. IAF contingent is participating in the exercise Sinew Maitri with one C-17 Globemaster III aircraft, and the exercise allow respective subject matters to interact and study with the operational philosophies and the best practices. The aim of the exercise is to enhance the mutual understanding and interoperability between Indian Air Force and the Japan Air Defense Forces. The other one is 13th edition of exercise Bold Kurukshetra. The Singapore Army and Indian Army has participated in this, and this took place from 16th to 13th of March at Jodhpur military station in Rajasthan. This is for the first time both armies participated, that is the Indian Army and Singapore Army, involved in the battalion and brigade level elements in the part of computer wargaming. The exercise forecasted a common understanding of the mechanized workforce emerging from the technologies, developing interoperability through the computer-based wargames, joint interoperation, tactical procedures, and controlling the joint command post. Exercise Sea Dragon. This is the third edition of coordinated multilateral exercise that took place between the Indian Navy and the US Navy, right? The exercise carried upon with the anti-marine wars among the participant countries, and the complexity of the part was that the exercise steadily over the past year has included the advancement of ASW drill, which is again a level of advancement, right? So the exercise aims to achieve the high level of synergy and coordinations between the friendly navies and share the values and commitments towards inclusive Indo-Pacific. So main theme of the exercise must be known to you. And other is FINDEX 23 at 2023. That is the India Africa Airfield training was held in Pune, Maharashtra. 124 participants थे with call for the Mahar and Mahar regiments participate in the multilateral exercise. जो मराठा और महार दो regiments हैं जिन्होंने participate की. This type of question is also important for CAPF examination, right? So build positive military relations, imbibe each other best practices, and even to help in humanitarian marine actions, peacekeeping operations under the UN mandate. The exercise will enable the part of the countries to adopt methodologies and tactics to conduct such operations. And fourth Joint Defense Cooperations Committee between India and Philippines. So the fourth joint defense meeting was held between India and Philippines in New Delhi. And during this meeting, both India and Philippines reviewed their bilateral defense agreement and cooperations and also discussed the effectiveness of practical initiatives to further expand the engagement. Both sides initiated measures to enhance the cooperation in defense industries and technology domain, and they also discussed the cooperations in multilateral forum and noted the complementaries in the Indo-Pacific, decided to hold regular consultations on their mutual interest. So these were the part of the initiatives, cooperations and military exercises that took place for the month of March. Apart from this, we have a lot more other initiatives for you like daily news and editorial analysis, where I cover the news from the Hindu and Indian Express, IS Gazette magazine that you can download for our websites, PIB compilation that I've already discussed, MPR will be released very soon, and the gist of Yojana and Kurukshetra is already there. Many of them have been uploaded. Do check out our playlist section. That will definitely help you to sail through the journey of civil services. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.